Episode 23, Combos, Supers, and Match Pacing. Hello everyone, and thank you for joining us as we explore the fighting game genre. In the world of book and movie narratives, pacing refers to each scene having the proper length, which affects the pace of the story's progression. If a scene is too short or too long, in a way that doesn't fit its content and overall importance, the audience may get confused, or worse, bored. Fighting games have their own version of pacing. The genre is fast and action-packed, requires making decisions on the fly and reacting within a fraction of a second. But being hyper-focused for a long period of time is exhausting. You need some breaks from the action to allow you to rest, think about what happened up till this point, and form a plan for the upcoming situation. Fighting games tend to already provide these periodic short breaks by design. These occur in between matches, in between rounds, and during moments where the characters cannot immediately engage with each other, like when both of them stand on opposite corners or when one of them is knocked down. The problem begins when some fighting games implement features that add needless additional breaks or that make breaks too long. We'll address two common places in which pacing issues tend to arise in fighting games: combos and cinematic supers. Combos are fun to pull off, sure, but at their core they impose a timeout in the match in which only one of the two players is doing something, while the other is just watching passively. After spending a lot of time with the game, the combo inputs are eventually integrated into muscle memory, and they don't require as much effort and concentration. The repetition and automaticity of combos can then serve as much needed breaks, and give both players time to plan onward, but they tend to serve this role best when they are relatively short. On the other hand, combos that are too long affect the game in a negative way. A match can devolve into 3 seconds where both players get to make decisions, followed by 20 seconds of one player doing the exact same combo that character is supposed to do in this situation. And then 3 seconds again, where both players play the match, and then another 20 seconds where you see that same combo again. It's frustrating for the player getting hit, and can also get boring for the player doing the hitting. While there are examples of fighting games with annoyingly long average combo length, we want to focus on games which utilize a variety of different solutions to prevent this problem. Some games are designed around extremely short combos, or no combos at all, but that's oftentimes not a suitable solution, since combo systems can benefit the game a lot when they allow for variety and force the player to make hard choices. Ideally, there should never be one combo option that overshadows all others. Some combo starters should be harder to hit with, but more rewarding when they do. The same goes for the initial cancel options before you have enough time to confirm if the initial move hits or gets blocked. Being required to commit in advance to the next move forces you to choose between less reward on hit, but more on block, and vice versa. And as the combo continues from there, it's more interesting when you are required to choose between different combo enders that achieve different goals. Do you maximize damage? Or do you maximize corner carry? Or super meter gain? Or opt for a better Okizeme setup afterwards? Do you spend your resources now, or save them for later? In order to give the player the space to make all these interesting decisions on the fly, the combos need to have at least some minimal length, and allow enough variety within. There are also systems which allow for interactivity with the second player during the combo, commonly in the form of a combo-breaking burst. The player has to guess when the opponent will try to burst and alter the combo accordingly, or sometimes downright stop it midway to try to bait it. Bursts are usually designed around very limited access, roughly once per round. So while they add interactivity, they alone still can't remedy a game with very long combos. In older multi-blood games, the player getting comboed got to play a rhythm minigame, where pressing the buttons exactly as the hits connected was rewarded with some damage reduction. The player doing the combo could try to address it by doing different combos, or by mixing the timing of the combo hits when possible. While some players love this minigame, others argue that it can make the matches more exhausting by taking away the usual time windows where players get to take a breather and think. While Skullgirls is a game that allows very long combos, its combo system incentivizes players to sacrifice some of the combo damage, stopping it in the middle, and go for reset attempts, which can start new combos that eventually lead to bigger damage. While it's similar in concept to Okizeme mix-ups in other fighting games, in Skullgirls these reset attempts can come in many forms and during multiple stages of a combo, so it's crucial to pay close attention while you are getting comboed, get familiar with the reset spots, and apply the proper solutions to avoid them. The drama bar reduces damage for a while after getting hit with long combos, and it incentivizes going for resets earlier rather than later, which in turn can shorten the average combo length even more. Like with Melty Blood's minigame, some players love the freedom and two-player interactivity of this system, while others feel uncomfortable with having to get familiar with so many possible reset spots and stay completely focused throughout each combo. Some games, like Dead or Alive and Killer Instinct, have strings of hits that may be called combos within the game's terminology, but they function differently, more like a rapid string of mix-ups that are highly in favor of the attacker, but their damage is not guaranteed by default. This is a very different approach from both Skullgirls and Melty Blood, but the same pros and cons still apply. Overall, there are many different ways in order to avoid long inactive time due to combos in fighting games, and we do hope to see them being used in more games in the future. The second common source of bad pacing is cinematic supers. 2D fighting games always tried to showcase flashy, limited-use super moves. When they started utilizing 3D graphics, this eventually allowed them to take the visual appeal of these moves to the next level, applying cinematic camera angles on top of special animations and various visual effects. Street Fighter IV started this trend, which was adopted by other 2D fighting games, and even 3D fighting games started implementing super moves in order to utilize cinematic camera angles in the action. While including flashy spectacles in a game is normally a good thing, and obviously increases the appeal and helps sell more copies, it can also affect the game's pacing badly when not implemented properly. Two factors are considered: frequency and length. When you watch the cinematic super for the first time, it's exciting, but after playing the game for months and watching the exact same cutscene for the 2,754th time, its novelty is worn off long ago, and at that point, it's just annoying. The length of the cinematic super is another problem. It may add another break from the action, not only at a time where it's not needed, but a break that is way too long and harms the pacing of the match. The option to skip a cinematic super with a press of a button would definitely improve some fighting games, but it's not a very elegant solution. Flashy moments should be designed as part of the flow of the match, rather than abruptly skipped. This problem can be solved by addressing the length. Ideally, we'd like to see cinematic supers which are planned to be visually impressive while staying very short and concise. That way, they can serve as short breaks in the match without harming its pacing. Alternatively, you could address the frequency and tie the cinematic cutscene to moves that are designed to successfully activate very rarely, so that when they do appear, it becomes a special event. A perfect example for this is Bang's Astral Heat from BlazBlue. Astral Heats are flashy finishing moves which instantly kill the opponent, but require very situational conditions to activate. The opponent needs to be at 35% health or lower, and on the last round before losing the match. Astral Heats also require a full bar of super meter, which is a valuable resource. Bang's Astral Heat specifically adds several extra hurdles on top of all that. It cannot easily connect at the end of combos, and it can only be done in the air while requiring a long input motion. This makes Bang's Astral Heat extremely hard to successfully hit with, and requires gambling your resources and your safety on an extremely accurate hard read of the opponent's next move. Under such conditions, landing this move happens very rarely, but when it does, the cutscene becomes much more meaningful. What are your favorite ways of handling pacing in fighting games? Let us know in the comments below, and subscribe for more episodes. Thank you for watching, and see you next time. 何が出るかな